All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Shots Fired podcast. We're your hosts, Kyle, Billy, and Mark here. And welcome.
Solid. That was strong.
Yeah.
Hey, for another shot fired.
Copy, additional shot fired.
Shot fired, shot fired. Shooting at us.
Suspect shooting at officer.
Suspect down. He's at the base of the stairs. White t-shirt, white male.
He is not impressed right now. It's been a rough week.
God damn.
All right. Welcome back to another episode, and welcome back to our show. We appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who has been commenting on our videos, subscribing to the channel, and leaving us messages, asking us questions, which we want to give a couple shout outs to Battleborn.
Yes, Battleborn.
You're the man. Thank you for all your comments on our channel, and we're waiting to hear what happens when you use the term leg bail.
Yeah.
Since apparently you've never heard of it, we want to know the outcome when you use it.
Yeah,
Let's make it clear. You're the only one who's ever heard of leg bail.
To be fair, there were some people on there that said that they have also heard of it. So I think it was like 50-50, maybe like 60-40. Like 40% no, 60.
your math is way off.
Yeah.
It's about 892.
I don't know. You guys would be surprised.
Battleborn, we want to hear if it causes pure confusion.
Yeah.
If I was on patrol and someone said I got a leg bail, I'd be like,
Yeah.
He'll
Is
say
he
it.
detained?
Well, yeah, he's going to say it. And then his other guys are going to be like, dude, what the hell was that? And he's going to be like, dude, I heard it on these guys from the Shots Fired podcast.
So do you, when you say, so generally it's like, he's foot bailing. All right, I'm in foot pursuit. So do you say he's leg bailing?
pursuit?
I'm in leg pursuit. Still in leg pursuit, northbound.
do you say I'm responding to a 187?
No.
No.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. Like we got reports of a 459.
You know,
Yeah.
just so you guys,
Dispatch, show me a route to that leg bail.
just so you guys know, my grandpa had a saying, and it was, it's not
my
weird.
pappy back in my day,
It's not weird. It's just different. It's just different. That's all.
which is weird.
Yeah.
Anyways,
my grandpa used to say, it's not different. It doesn't exist.
Whatever. Anyways,
All right,
please
Battleborn,
let
make
us
it
know.
happen.
Yeah.
We want to hear. Another couple good questions we had this week. Corey, thanks for reaching out about the medical kit question. Great question. The question was if there was any type of shears or, a certain type of medical equipment that we should have on patrol. Mark here actually has a really good link to a small little first aid pouch that you can attach right to your duty belt or your vest, your outer carrier vest if you carry one. But super cool. It's got pretty much everything you need in a tiny little pouch, to include shears. And we'll put the description of that in the show notes on this one. So I really liked it.
Yeah, if you're talking just shears, I just get whatever's off of the ambulance because I'm cheap.
So you steal.
They give them to me.
Oh,
That's actually a good idea because
But,
you might lose them.
Yeah, but if not, Leatherman makes like a collapsible one. If
that's a good idea.
stuff so like you want to wear it in your pocket or something, you probably don't want scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those that don't have like tack vests or anything like that, it can be hard to find a place to put shears.
I think asking
Yeah.
your medic, that's a great idea because
Yeah.
you work with them, they're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, if you need like just to make your own little kit, other than like the trauma kit for yourself,
Yeah.
I would definitely invest in something like that. But the small supplies and stuff like that to build your own little kit, just go to your ambulance, go to your hospital. They might tell you F off or whatever, but they might
lot of
just
times
give
they
it to
give you stuff. Yeah,
No,
they-
they have everything I got. I've got gauze. I've got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they give you like the legit hand like sanitizer stuff too, not like the not the stuff we have. They have the good stuff. So, anyways, there's always ways to get stuff. But good questions. We appreciate it. And again, if you guys have any questions about anything, please let us know. We talk about it, and we'll get back to you for sure. So
We'll probably argue about it too.
yeah, sometimes we do that. We do that. Anyways, so how was everybody's week? Pretty good. I know it's Christmas time right now, so we know Billy had a couple Christmas parties this weekend that he went to. So, did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, I did. I had fun.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good now.
Eyes are still a little bloodshot.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
I took a day off or two.
Yeah.
So,
You have Pedialyte or something in your cup?
maybe I should.
Yeah.
That's a pro tip
funny.
right there.
Yes. Yes.
Pedialyte. Before and after.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of Christmas parties and stuff going on right now, but we're glad you had fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah. Kyle, did you do anything?
No, not really. Just planning for Christmas and all that. You know, the busy time of the year.
Yeah.
So, how about you?
I did nothing, and it was amazing.
Sounds good.
Very few times I do literally nothing. Though I wasted my days doing nothing, it was relaxing and
Yeah.
enjoyable.
You ordered us sweaters. We got cool sweaters coming for the show.
I did.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe people want to buy some. Who knows?
They'll be for sale.
Huge markup.
Yeah.
Yes.
50%.
50.
50%
Huge.
markup.
Like, his math is off.
Yeah.
Huge markup. 50%. 60, 40 on leg bells. You are absolutely confused.
Oh, we should get a t-shirt made. A leg bell
thinking
t-shirt.
300% markup.
Here's your hoodie. $250.
The first person willing to post a comment that they are absolutely going to buy that sweatshirt for $250.
We'll autograph it.
We'll sell it to you for $50.
No, let's do it. Let's autograph it. $250. We'll autograph it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a
I'm
deal.
in.
That's
do
a
it.
hell of a deal. Oh, shit.
It might say, you idiot.
Yeah.
Then we'll donate the proceeds. The
Okay.
50%
Yeah.
markup.
Dude,
No, it's funny. It's funny.
anyways. All right.
I say huge markup, and we always are having a sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the My Pillow guy.
300%
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, that's right.
There's 4 cups on this table.
Do you notice, like, when you go to a furniture store, it's always like, we're going out of business. Like, everything is 75% off, but it's like that year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's a
So wait,
scam.
last month you were going to charge me 75% more for this product.
Yeah.
I can't believe I was going to come in here.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
That's why they're going out of business.
Anyways. All right. Well, now that we got that settled, I do like the leg bell t-shirt idea, but we got a good topic for you guys today. We want to discuss, actually, Mark, you came up with it. So why don't you go ahead and let everybody know what we're going to be discussing.
That was confusion on what you came up with. It's basically what he's saying. Like,
You don't remember.
like yeah, what Mark said.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Actually, it's what Billy said. No.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it'd be a great topic to talk about coordinating with your patrol team, a probation or a parole search, some concepts and ideas, safety measures, putting together a team to actually go and do that, some things that you should consider before and then during, and then once you arrive, and then once you get in the house, and then once everyone is detained and everything is slowed down and it's safe, then I think it'd be great to talk about a systematic search. Who do you assign to do specific rooms, and then how you search, and then where people hide stuff. Because I've seen some pretty interesting hiding places, and I imagine you guys have too.
Yeah. I think Billy will have a really good perspective coming from the detective side, like assigning who, like doing a systematic search versus like
Right.
patrol guys that go in and do this stuff are kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And then it gets to be a little confusing. And then when you write the report, it's like, who found what, where was it? Some guys don't even like to write a report or a supplement when they do find evidence. So you'll probably, I think, have a good perspective of assigning certain people to be the search person, the evidence collector.
Yeah, I can
So we'll get
definitely
into that.
speak on that.
All right.
We hope so.
I hope I can.
Well, you just got-
I mean, like,
Yeah, that's your job.
I mean, like if I couldn't
was.
speak on that,
Yeah.
I don't know. You just go in there and you like flip things over, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, we
Empty
do.
drawers out. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'll talk some shit about some shit that I've had SWAT or tactical guys do, but
Oh, we'll definitely do that. Yeah.
There's
on
no
search
stories.
warrants, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that's actually a good topic. I mean, I think that's something probably all of us do, if not daily, weekly for sure. And then, if you're conducting a search warrant or whatever, there is a lot of like thought and workups that should go into these. They should never just be done willy-nilly, getting a couple officers together and thinking like, oh, let's just go hit this house on a probation search or whatever. Like, you could probably get away with it sometimes, but then the time that, things don't go right, you're going to be held to answer to that. So there's definitely good ways to go about handling these as far as tactics go. And then, like you said, searching and, who can you detain when you're going into these houses and stuff, so you want to kick it off and give your perspective?
I think the most important thing just to get is, you coming from a sergeant spot and detective and SWAT, and we all have patrol and everything. Whoever is coordinating it, they're in charge. Mm-hmm. And if there's a sergeant there, obviously they have like veto right, I would always say.
Yeah.
But there needs to be one person. I've been on things where it's like, hey, like, this is kind of yours, kind of ours. And then, there's too many chiefs, not enough Indians kind of thing. So always have one person in charge, and they're the one who does all the workup and research and everything.
The primary.
Yeah. Primary.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great point.
And I think unless that person's, and they should say, hey, does anybody have anything to add to this? Does anybody have any ideas or any safety considerations? I think that's the open for those. Mm-hmm. And then if it's like, okay, well, I appreciate your thought on this, but we're going to stick to this.
Yeah.
And then the safety part should always be considered. But I definitely agree. Definitely should be one person that runs it. And
that's a general statement. If you ever have a safety issue, whether it's your chief of police is doing something that you think is unsafe, you should have hey, stop, freeze, everyone stop. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Well, granted, there's times that we're going to be in spots that just aren't safe, but
right.
Yeah.
When you see some way you can make it safer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's start with we'll start from start to finish. How, from our perspective, our experience, and this is only coming from our experiences as doing these for multiple years. We've all held different assignments. All of our roles were probably a little bit different in doing these, but we've all done patrol, obviously. So I think the vast majority of people listening to this are probably on a patrol level. So let's start from start to finish. How we think how you can get the best outcome from doing a parole or probation type search, start to finish. And I mean, so I'll give my perspective. I think if that's something you want to do, I think the number one thing you need to do is obviously identify who your target is. Once you've identified who your target is and he's on probation or she's on probation parole, then that's when the homework starts, because just because you've identified somebody that's got status, and obviously we're talking about somebody that's searchable. Mm-hmm. To me, that's not the only thing you're looking at. Like, you should be looking at what's that person's arrest history. When was the last time? And let me preface this with, if you have the availability to do this, I understand that some people work in areas where they don't have the access, maybe like we do, which we have actually, I would say an incredibly good system to be able to use on a patrol level in our patrol cars to find out pretty much everything about anybody.
Yeah.
So if you have the availability, call your dispatch if you don't, but they'll have it. But what's their arrest history? When were they last arrested and what for? And what's their, my biggest thing is what is this person's history? If you're talking a person with multiple gun arrests, maybe they just got popped with a gun. They've got some violence attached to that, maybe resisting cops, fighting with cops, things of that nature. I'm probably going to be more reluctant to want to go do just a normal patrol search on somebody like that, versus something else. But I think it starts with finding out history, what they've been arrested for, and what if they've been recently arrested. And then, you can go a step further and figure out if they've been arrested in another county. I've called other jurisdictions and asked, do you guys have history with this person? If so, what for? Figure out their arrest history with other agencies. That's kind of my first step. And when I would do these types of things,
I think it's also, so you say a lot about the person. They're just huge, obviously, whoever they are, basically doing your homework on who, what, where, when, why. Those are the big ones. But the location is also another huge thing you have to equate for, because you don't know who's in the house. Say you're going to do a probation search on, I don't know,
Tim?
I was going to say Timmy.
Somebody who's, has petty theft, right?
Yeah.
We're talking low risk for the most part. I think we'd all agree to that. But they live with a guy who's a gang member who's done robbery, has multiple gun charges, drug charges, but he's not the scope of your search. So if you don't see that there's someone else living there, that's also important too.
So that kind of rolls into like, you're doing the check of the person, but you're also doing a check of the residents who lives there.
Yeah.
If you can find that out.
And even you can even go further. Who's the neighbor? Who's 3 doors down? If you're doing a search on a house and you're going to stop, hopefully you're going to stop 3 or 4 houses away. Maybe 4 houses away is his homie who's, shot at cops before or has huge history of fighting with cops. Maybe not the best bet to stop in front of that house.
Yeah.
That is a good point, because you're going to have to walk by and that house might think you're coming to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I think also if it's a planned one and you have time, maybe if you plan it for a day or 2 later, do a drive-by, and depending on the street, if it's busy and cops drive by all the time, try and get license plates, run the license plate, see how many cars are in the driveway, how many people are there. If they're typically in the driveway or in the garage and the garage door is open, so then you have an entrance.
Yeah.
And the neighbors, I think, is good, especially right next door. Because if you're going up, they might come out and start to hassle you.
Yeah.
Or you might need to be worried about them.
Yeah. There's definitely, I've been in places where all of a sudden neighbors are your bigger concern than what's in
Then
the
your
house.
target. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it comes down to intel, like doing as much intel prior to going to this target as much as possible. And that's doing all the research on your target, and then doing as much research as you can in all the residents that live there, if you can find that out, all associates. And then you bring up a good point on figuring out who the neighbors are. If it's a neighborhood where there's problems, I would probably figure out who are the neighbors and what is their arrest history.
Yeah, and it could be schools and stuff in the area, all that kind of stuff that you need to think about. I'm not going to go do a probation search on a guy's house at 3:00 in the afternoon
When school's getting
when
out.
school's getting out.
Yeah, great point.
If that's the area that he's in, I'm probably not going to do it at 3:00.
That's a good point.
Anytime,
Anyways,
but
yeah.
but still, maybe that's when you're like, this is when it needs to happen. You're like, no, there's a school. I'm not doing it.
Right.
That could be the check in the box that
Yeah.
you go, no, not worth it.
And
Yeah,
if
that's a good point.
If you call me to come and help do your probation search, I expect that you have that information and you're relaying that during the little brief. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know that you've done your homework, because if not, I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay if you missed it. I mean, that's why you work together and you have a brief, and then you cover it and say, hang on, or assign someone to find that info.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as far as homework, and I guess this is going beyond a little bit of homework, more research and everything when you're there, have your primary rally point, which would be probably where you're meeting everybody far away. And then have your secondary, which is like, maybe it's the other way around. Primaries. Your secondary is wherever. I don't know. You have a rally point where you're meeting up, but have like we call it like an avalanche
Yeah.
rally point. Like, hey, this is where we're going when
If things go bad.
If things go bad.
Yeah.
And have a casualty evac plan, have all that. And maybe you always have that with your team where you don't need to really speak about it.
Yeah.
Knowing where the hospital is too. Nearest hospital, nearest trauma center.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that. on
Yeah, we've
something else.
we've talked a lot about this, and
Yeah.
and at least not last episode, but the one prior. But these are all still little things that, like, when you get your troops together, when you decide, hey, you've done all this back work, you decide you're going to go hit this house. You bring your partners together, your buddies or whatever, and you're all in a parking lot somewhere, which hopefully everyone's doing that. Meet up, get everybody that can go, or get everybody that can go that's going to go do this event. Bring them all together in a parking lot, and then these are all the things that you're going to be discussing to everybody. And as the primary guy, like, this is all your responsibility. You need to tell everybody, I've checked this box, I've checked this box, like, I've done, this is the research I've done on the house, and then come up with a plan on how you're going to execute conducting this search. But if you only have like 1 or 2 guys to go do it, I would say probably not in your best interest to go do that. Like, to me, that's just not enough officers to go
A house? No.
go do a probation or parole search on a house.
I don't know. I've done it with 2 people. It's super sketchy, but
Yeah.
you wait.
Like you,
mean, you
so
watch the
you and
house.
1 other person, or like you and 2 more other persons. So there's 3 of you.
2 people enter the house.
I think that's totally sketchy, dude.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's sketchy. I mean, I've done it.
yeah.
Do I want to do it?
Like on a
No,
pre-planned event.
No. Well, you do a traffic stop. Somebody does a traffic stop. They detain someone that's on probation, and then it's like, we have this intel. They do a quick workup. You only have 2 people available. The intel that you're getting, you hope it's credible and reliable, and the person is saying there's 1 person in the house, my mom or my brother, and I
think
really
you
have to judge it on that person's demeanor.
Yep.
And then you run the house, and you're like, okay, well, cops have been there 3 times. They've contacted 2 people, dude that's detained and mom. I'm comfortable with that. And then I think you just have to go with the thought that you're going to knock on the door, talk to mom, tell her actually why you're there, and be like,
slow
and
play. You gotta slow play it when you're with 2.
You can't, you can't rush that.
And I think that if we're talking about a probation search, just the steps that I would do is, obviously we talked about doing the homework and all that, and then the next thing that I do is identify my resources and whatever. Sometimes it's, hey, is there a SWAT team available to me? It could be that. Is there canine air?
Yeah.
I don't know, detectives, pop teams. But sometimes it's 2 people. Hey, I got this guy held here. I need you to go hit this house. And you're like, what house? And you're like, it's just, if you get, hey, it's this address, and he says his mom's there. Maybe do your own research. I don't know.
Yeah. No. So 2 points. Like, you make a good point. Yeah, there are those times when you're going to go do a rollback search warrant, or not a search warrant, but a rollback probation search. I think you nailed it when you said you got to judge like that person's demeanor, and that's where becoming a good street cop comes in handy. Is like, you should be able to recognize people's demeanor and when they're not acting right or when they're not telling you the truth. If you get a good vibe that like this person probably does live with maybe their parent or themselves or whatever, like based on, you can look up their location history, then I'd say you're good to go on that. But as far as a pre-planned event goes, you identify a target that you want to go hit. I'm saying bring as much as you can, and then you make a good point on identifying your assets that you have working with you. Maybe it's air, maybe it's your canine guys. And just because they can't bite somebody on something like that, if somebody runs, maybe, just bringing the dog to the show is scary enough. If someone wants to hide, you can get a dog barking, they'll come out. And then maybe they're dual purpose dogs, so they can, do a drug sniff or a gun sniff or whatever. But, identify like who are your people that you're working with.
Well, I think it changes too. If you're going to an apartment and you have something in mind where it's like, okay, this is the intel that I have, or based on the arrest, a 2-bedroom apartment, you don't need to take 12 people.
No,
but I think if you're going to a house and it's some bad dudes in there, you've identified it and you've done a drive-by and there's 6 or 7 people in there, you're taking 12 people if you can get it.
Especially
or
unknown people too.
Yeah.
Like I've seen 3 dudes sitting outside. I don't know I can never identify them, but they're there all the time.
3 guys outside, you already have at least 1 officer taken away.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times too, when we're doing these things, like most cops probably have a good idea of what house they're going to. They've been there before, so they can be like, there's usually a bunch of turds that are at this house. Whenever we go there, there's a bunch of people there. Yeah. I would venture to guess a lot of times most cops have that going into it, but
and I think also having a plan, a goal and plan. So sometimes if it's just a probation guy and you're doing it for drugs, and all of a sudden you see a guy run out the back and he starts hopping fences, and it's misdemeanor drugs, which is probably felony drugs in every other state, but
either way, you got a guy running.
In drugs, you got a guy running, and it's doesn't really pose a danger to you or the public.
Yeah. Are you chasing?
Are you chasing?
No, probably not.
And that's, you need to talk about that before. Or, hey, I got target in custody, and then all of a sudden 2 guys just started running in other locations. Don't know anything about them. me personally, I'm like, go ahead, have a good jog.
I think that is a good point. And that goes with the brief and then assigning people specific roles. Like you're taking 4 people to the front, 2 in the back, and then I'm going to always ask for a helicopter. So if someone does run, I just want the helicopter to keep eyes on it.
Yeah.
And it goes, like you're saying, it goes, if you have 20 people, then chase that dude.
Yeah.
But if it's patrol team, which we're probably talking anywhere from 4 to 8,
6,
at the most, I would say.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I got a guy just leg bailed out of the house, and he's taking off. We might be onto something here. Like
I might be onto something here. Yeah.
But you didn't use it properly. I just did.
Whatever.
I still can't get behind it. Like,
I don't want to go off on that again.
yeah, I kind of do.
No, seriously though, like, those are conversations to be had when you're in that parking lot going over stuff. Like if someone does run, let them go. More oftentimes than not, you're going to let them go. Don't chase the rabbit unless you can identify who it is. And maybe he's got a good want or a warrant or something, and you know who this person is when they run, then okay, go for it. But,
and I think that if your primary goal is to get the person, then you should have containment plans at that point before.
Yeah, you should set a containment up around the house.
He's hopping fences. Like, I got a car at this corner. I got a car at this corner. He's going to be in this area, and then we'll lock everything down, slow everything down, and then if you didn't have a dog there already, then be like, all right, start me a K9 now.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you can find out who that person is that ran once you're in the house. Talk to folks that are in there. Hey, who was that? Sometimes they'll act stupid. I don't know who it was. I just met him today, right? That's like the common thing. But sometimes people will name drop them. And if you can identify who it is, maybe they got a good want. Like you said, hopefully you set up containment beforehand, and then you can lock them down in the perimeter.
I mean, think of the worst case scenario. You get into a house. There's 4 of you into this house. You go through the house. All of a sudden, guy runs out the back, goes running. 3 of your partners go chase the guy, and all of a sudden you're in a house by yourself.
Yeah,
and you don't know
that would not
where
be
anybody's
good.
at.
I think that just again reinforces the importance of communicating. Are we letting someone go or not? Mm-hmm. And then if they run, then that's fine. We're just going to continue moving up.
Yeah,
and then,
but make sure you guys are all on the same page when you're going into this stuff. Like you can't have one officer go, running off chasing somebody, but everyone else is like staying at the house. Like you can't have those types of things happening. That's how things get to be out of control. Someone gets hurt. You don't know what everyone's doing. Like so before going into this, you all need to be on the same page. Like if we have a runner, let him go. It's fine. That's not why you're there. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I guess we're trying to get at you is, don't get caught up in chasing.
I do want to say it could be why you're there though.
Well, yeah, but I think your approach is totally different.
And then everything changes. You could be there for that person.
Sure, the person running.
Yeah.
Then that may change things up a little bit. But if you know it's not your target, I
think that if you got a runner and you're able to identify that guy as a runner, I think you're going to hold containment before you make entry into the house.
Yeah.
But if you're doing just a sole probation search, and intel is no one is wanted and someone bails, I think that's the important time to press and move into the house because something is going on, in my opinion.
And real quick, I don't want to go way off topic on this, but I do want to bring up that kind of reminds me of something different. And that's if you do a traffic stop, just a traffic stop, right? No normal traffic stop. And you get like, let's say a passenger foot bails or a driver runs from the car. How many times have you seen videos where cops are like running up on that car and there's still somebody else in the vehicle? Like if someone, even if it's just a passenger that runs from the car, to me, it's a felony car stop at that point. Like slow things down. I'm not approaching that car anymore. If I know someone just ran from that car, I'm not approaching the car. Like to me, it's a felony car stop. I'm waiting for my partners to get there. And whether you pull all occupants out at gunpoint or you tell everybody, throw your hands out the window, get compliance from everybody, then walk up to the car safely. But that kind of just, I don't know, made me think of that. Like I've seen it where a passenger runs from a car and then a cop is just like, the passenger ran or whatever. And then like just casually walks up to the driver's side window. It's like, no, like something is not normal going on inside this vehicle, you should stop and slow down at that point. To me, it's a felony car stop.
Yeah. And
I just wanted to throw that out there.
with the probation search, I think there's two different avenues: the probation search with no one wanted, or somebody is wanted.
Yeah.
And I think your approaches are totally different.
Oh yeah, you got to
Because you might have somebody that bails that's not even, you don't even have status in the house.
Yeah, I think you
your
have a
approach is gonna be
search.
different.
You have
Yeah.
an attempt search, or you have an attempt pickup.
Yeah.
To me, you're going to treat those a little differently.
And then
But-
I think once you do your brief, you've identified everyone's responsibilities, letting the people, if you're taking backyards or something, let them get in place and then voice to you, hey, you're in place. And then have the person that knows where the house is lead, and then everyone else follows and then parks. And I
Yeah.
think if you got multiple cars, the people in the back that are parking need to hustle and run up to the front to catch up, so then you can move quickly.
Yeah.
I think so. You're not wasting time.
Yeah, it made me think about like probation, parole searches in general a little bit more. I think for me, it should be used as a tool. It shouldn't be used as a reason. And that's just me. I think we have parole officers, we have probation officers that are doing random checks and things like. And sometimes you're doing a whole sweep, and that's
different,
totally
yeah.
different, and that's exactly what we're talking about also. But just hey, I'm gonna go. I had this guy over here. I'm just gonna go do a probation search. Like, why are we doing that necessarily? We need to kind of think about
that's
that
a good
too.
point.
And if we have enough actionable stuff, then maybe we should get a warrant. Maybe we should talk to more people, or maybe we should pass it off from a patrol team. Maybe they should pass it off to somebody who has a little bit more resources to get in things, because I rarely found like unless it was a rollback because they said, hey, we had actionable, watched him drive away from here, and now he's got a gun kind of thing.
My thought's a little different. When I worked patrol, we would have it was a team of, I think it was 12, just for one specific area. And then I would be that person that would just drive by, something would catch my eye, an odd car in the driveway, parked weird. Something sparked my interest, and I'd run that house. And then if I had probation status or parole, I'd be like, okay. And then I would research the house that we're talking about here. And then I'd call the team and be like, let's do a probation search. Have no real experience with that house. That person could be there, never been contacted in 6 months, been on probation for 2 years, about to be let off of it. That's what that's my interest.
And I like that. I'm not going to say I don't like that. But then what happens when they go, well, this is my room, this is the family room, this is the bathroom I use. I never go in that room over there, and the door's shut.
Yeah. Well, you're
Well,
going to run into a problem.
Do you go, hey, I got to stop and I'm going to go get a warrant? Or because in my experience, these guys are pretty savvy about things. They're going to put a gun in
their girlfriend's
in their
bedroom,
girlfriend's
in mom's room.
or mom's room, or something.
and mom's on board with it. They're going to, dope's going to be in the garage. They're like, oh, I'm not allowed in the garage. That
Yeah,
kind
but
of
I think
stuff.
that's where you get a couple guys together that are more experienced or have different experiences with that. So I guess more experience. And then once it's safe, then you start to figure out, how do we articulate this? What can we do? Can we even do anything?
Yeah. And if you can't, you can't.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to lose
can't.
my job over
And
it.
I think what you were saying was kind of, now that I think about it a little bit more, it's kind of on lines of what I was saying, is using it as a tool to do something that you want to do. Not just being like, I'm going to go through and do random probate. It's not random when the way that you're explaining it.
No,
Yeah.
it's targeted for sure.
It's targeted.
Yeah. If it is what you're using and that's all you have, I will always say, I don't care if the guy's on parole for being a terrorist, or I don't know, like the most parole you can be on. Get a warrant if you can.
Yeah.
Like if you have the PC to get a warrant, because that's gonna cover you. I've been to court where they're like, you did a probation search? Oh, okay. We're throwing it all out. Like, he says that's not his room. I'm like, but it's closed. And they're like, yeah, he says it's not his though.
Yeah,
okay.
that is a good point.
And we're going to talk about
Why didn't you get a warrant? Yeah.
Well, not only that, but like why it's important to document certain things when you find stuff, indicia and stuff like that, in someone's bedroom or whatever, a piece of mail. a driver's license, whatever, stuff like that. Snap photos of that stuff.
Well, should we talk about that?
Yeah.
Say officers have already secured the house and it's safe, or do you want to?
All right.
Well, I mean, I think we've talked about safety, officer safety, and searches, I don't think we need to kick a dead horse, but basically, I think we could briefly say, do it safely.
Yeah, do it safely and do your homework. Like, to me, that's the most important. Do your freaking homework.
And I would say, if it's a probation, you can detain anybody in that probation area. First, or you can ask them to leave. If it's a search warrant, usually you can detain. You have
everybody.
You can detain them, and that's another reason I like search warrants. But control whatever you can on any search or any entry or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So once we're in the house, now we're talking about, let's say we have our target detained and we're clearing the house and whatever, you're doing your safety sweep or whatever. It is, to me, it's not a free for all. Like, you don't have a bunch of cops in there just start searching random things and like, unfortunately that happens.
So there's two different searches. There's the entry, search for people, search for hazards. Then we're done. Stop, pause. Mm-hmm. Now we can reasonably say, and I'd always say, is a room safe when I can put my kids, my wife, my family inside that room? That's when I call a room safe. Other than that, it's not safe. So that's what the entry and the search is. We're doing that. That's not a search for
items.
I've seen people look in between mattresses and stuff. I was like, is there people hiding in between mattresses? I know in some places there are, but maybe it's a little spot. The little things you don't need to open up a drawer this big. There's not going to be a person with a gun hiding inside of it. So do your search for hazards, and then come back and reload, basically.
Yeah. I think that's when you determine who has access, control, who else is on probation or parole in that house.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what legal authority you have.
Yeah. And so we're talking probation, parole. That's when you're identifying where we're searching, who's searching, who's collecting evidence, who's photographing, who's watching people, because
the detainees.
You're not going to just be like throwing them on a couch and be like, whatever, I'm going to go search in here. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be one person with bodies.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, because there is a lot of times where we've probably all experienced, like, you go do these searches, whatever, and then like next thing you know, you got like 3 or 4 cops. They're all searching different areas of the house. You don't really know. One guy's probably researching an area that another person has already searched, and then it's kind of convoluted. So let's talk about like the best way to get the most bang for your buck in a search and evidence collection.
So you have a case agent, you have a finder are going to be your major people, and then you have searchers, which is everybody else. And case agent is just doing homework, working
primary,
things up. Primary
managing the scene.
The finder is in charge of who's searching what, how they're searching it, or not necessarily how they're searching it, but giving them the stuff they're needed, documenting where everything's done, telling them what to do. So for me, when I've done it as a finder or as a searcher, you just say, as a searcher, you find something, say it's in a drawer, or say it's in this cup on the thing. You look in that cup and you go, maybe you pull it out and you're like, oh yeah, it is what I think it is. Mm-hmm. You put it back in there, stop, and just I yell finder. That's the way we do it. Finder shows up, they come, they take picture, they document, and you're like, yeah, that's right where it was. I didn't touch it. And they document everything, and then you do your evidence collection at that point.
So the searcher's doing the evidence collection, the finder's just documenting everything.
Yeah, documenting everything, because say it's a huge place and you're doing a lot of you're finding a lot of things, say. And it could be as simple as, like you mentioned, indicia and stuff like that, or clothing.
Things. What is, for the people that don't listen, indicia?
It's going to be something with their name on it. Simple as mail, DMV, passports. It could be a picture of them.
Some type of identification.
Yeah, something that gives them ownership in some way of that room.
Yeah. Okay.
Or it could be gang indicia too. You could be, if it's a gang case, but say you find 100 different things in this house. then that if the finder's the one who's who's collecting all the evidence, now they're filling out sometimes 100 different property forms. They'd be there for days.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find something, I always stop. If I found it right there, I stop. Sometimes I'll say, hey, finder, can you bring me a property receipt? Fill out the property receipt right there. Oh, I need a K-Pack bag or a clear plastic bag. I need a paper bag, whatever it is that you're going to put in. They bring it out. I label it, and that way it's done.
Okay.
And I do not keep going until I'm done with that.
So the person that's, for the patrol purposes, the person that's coordinating this probation search should be the finder.
It depends on how much there is to do.
Just say a standard 3-bedroom house with
4 or 5 guys, patrol officers.
Yeah. If we're talking,
I think
talking more like that, then yes, I would make the case agent, patrol, whoever is in charge of the situation, finder, and
I would do it. If I coordinated that, I would do it all, because that'd be dicked for me to like run all this up and then do a brief and be like, all right, Billy, you're the finder. Have fun with that report.
Yeah, and then you're stuck doing everything.
Once you've done one, they're super easy reports.
All right, so if you work with Billy, he's the finder.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right, so just so we can make it easier for you guys, like, give this a try. Honestly, the next time you go do a probation or parole search or whatever, like, try this. Like, make it more structured. So identify who the finder is, which we've just told you is more than likely it should be the primary person who's either wanting to do that probation search or whoever set it up.
I disagree with it, but
Who do you think should be the finder?
They're designated. It depends. Like,
I think you're coming from a detective
you're
search
right.
warrant
You're right.
aspect.
Where
Because
if I'm the case agent and I'm working on
You got way
building
more
a
to do.
case
Way
at
more
this
to do.
point.
Yeah, you're the case agent on it.
But it could be
search
that
warrant or
you're
something.
doing a probation or parole search and they're trying to create a case on something here.
I'm going to do it. If I'm working patrol and I want to do a probation search, I'm doing it all. I want my team to search, and then to help me tomorrow when I want to do another one. But if I start boning people and be like, "Hey, you're the finder today, and you're the finder,"
No, I agree.
like, dude, we're not doing searches anymore.
I think when you separate it from a detective standpoint and a patrol standpoint, I think you probably identify 2 different.
You have to delegate it to detective level.
Yeah, it all just I mean, I can see at different levels. It depends on what you're trying to do here, or how much work does the case agent have while on scene.
Okay, so I guess that is a good point.
Say if you're the case agent, you're like, I got to be doing this. Can you be my finder?
Okay,
and
so
if you don't have if you have a partner who's like, what the fuck you making me work? I'm gonna be like, never mind.
Yeah.
That's true.
Move on.
Okay,
Like,
so things change when you enter the house. It could be expecting minimal, but you enter and it's something enormous. I think then you have to reevaluate, and then you might have to sign somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it could be as simple as I got to get these people out of here because we're gonna be here for hours, maybe. Whatever happened.
Could be. Yeah.
So these people, I got to get arrest packets. I got to get transport coming because I'm not going. We didn't have K-9 coming, or we had an apprehension dog and we found a bunch of drugs. Now I need a narcotics dog. I'm calling people, and say I'm on the phone calling people. Maybe it's just a supervisor. Hey, this is what happened, and now Kyle's over here searching. He sees finder, and I'm like, hold on. So Kyle's sitting there like this.
Yeah. So I think
That's true.
I think that's a great point, and that evolves and then gets bigger than
What you anticipated. Yeah.
Then I think at that point you become a case agent and you've got to delegate because you have to manage that. And I think that's part of that responsibility is being able to, but if it's just a simple low level search 3 bedrooms and a garage.
Whenever you're the case agent, you should be doing the most work.
True.
No matter what it is. Maybe you take a quick break here and there, like during a search or something where you're not on the phone or something, but don't be the guy who's like sitting back, kind of just,
you're off early and everyone's working overtime.
Yeah.
To book everything.
Yeah.
So I think if we're talking about just your standard patrol search, it's not nothing major. The primary officer is more than likely going to be your finder. And then, you're going to delegate your officers to do the search. And then like Billy said, if you get a guy that finds something, tell them ahead of time, hey, if you guys find something, some type of evidence or something illegal, let your searcher know, hey, just yell finder or yell for me, my name.
Put it back where it's at.
Don't touch it. Yeah. Either if you see it, don't touch it. Or if you have to manipulate it, put it back the way you found it. And then call your finder up, have your finder document it, take photographs.
And what I'm saying is, it doesn't say you had it, whatever. Say it's a little dime bag in a cup, and it was on the left side of the cup, and then you found it, or you had to look at it to make sure it was what you thought it was, and it was now on the right side of the cup. You don't need to be like, I need to put it
Whatever,
right back.
but I'm just saying, yeah,
it's pertinent where it was found, not like exactly.
Yeah, but at least you're doing things systematic in that order, so that it's not convoluted. Then you're not like, well, who's writing what's up and who, and then you're like questioning yourself, like who found what? Like, hey, Mark, where did you find that? Or Billy, where did you find that? I think by being more systematic like that, like you alleviate all of that, and it's very controlled. You're taking away all the
well, it needs to be controlled, because it's going to be most likely on body camera and go to court, and they're going to tear your ass up if it's all over the place and you're confused and you're not sure what's happening.
And that's another reason why I like to have a finder and a case agent, because case agent's going to go to court, and now finder is like, I was focused on finding or the collection of evidence the entire time. That's all I was there to do. They can be like, I was doing this, and they can be, you can refer to your pictures and say exactly where things were.
Yeah.
You know what?
You don't have 1,000 people going to court too.
I like that. And I think I'm going to adjust my opinion on that now and go with that.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could, maybe you can make yourself the finder, and then somebody else to kind of manage and take over where you're not boning somebody. But I with the body cameras and the court, and I think that's going to kind of change my opinion.
I will tell you that from being finder, a lot of times we'll say it is a really easy job, especially if you're the kind of person who doesn't like searching, because there's a lot of people that are like dirty underwears or stuff like that. I mean, like a lot of the places that we end up searching aren't the cleanest places, and you're like, I don't want to get dirty and stuff. Be the finder then. Be like, that's fine.
A good point. Yeah.
Show up, take a picture. I write where it was. I literally transpose my notes into a Word document, and that's it. Reporting is going to be different for everybody else.
Yeah.
But the reporting for us is super easy.
So if you were to search a room, how do you go about searching it? What do you search?
What's the most systematic way to search a room?
Yeah, for you.
I go in a circle, top to bottom.
Okay.
So I walk in the door. I usually start to the left of the door, and I just start going. Well, actually, let me take that back. If it's a bedroom, the first thing that I will search is the bed. And I always search the bed, under, everything like that. Because now if I have a bunch of things on countertops and inside drawers that I need to start taking out, I throw everything on the bed.
Yeah. Agreed. So do I.
Yeah.
The bed is totally disassembled, looked at.
Yeah.
And then everything goes on that.
The bed.
But then once I've done that, I start in a circle, top to bottom, or left to right or right to left. It depends on the room. And that way, when someone comes in, they're done searching their room, and they go, "Hey, I'm done. You need some help?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, this closet's going to take me an hour to search. It could be just the closet's going to take me. Can you start over? What have you searched? I've started here. I've gone this way."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point. So being very systematic in your search, not kind of like bouncing all over. You don't half-ass one area of the room but like put in all the effort in another area of the room.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen that too, because you look at like a closet and you're like, God, I don't want to search that. And so you kind of like mill around it, and you're like, call it good. Like that's not really searching at that point.
I can't stand, and I've had it where even a probation search, but it's even worse when you go through the efforts of writing a search warrant and someone searches a room and you come in there and you're like, did you search this room? And their response is, yeah. And you're like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
no, you didn't.
This is terrible. Like, do you know what it took me to write a search warrant? And this is how you're search. Like,
yeah.
I think when I searched, it was everything. Like shirts that had pockets were turned inside out. Pants, every pair of jeans had the pockets emptied. Everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think if people are listening to this and they are going to search, be methodical and super, super,
like
I don't know.
In depth.
Just very thorough. Because whoever is coordinating this or has written that search warrant is put effort into this. Mm-hmm. Don't half-ass that part.
Yeah. And they're expecting you to be a good searcher, because nobody's there babysitting you. Generally, if you're going to be a searcher, like that's on you to do a good job doing a search. And when the case agent or primary officer comes in and like, hey, did you search it or whatever? Like, and you say, yeah, and you did some half-ass search, like,
you open a drawer and the clothes are still folded, sitting in place. You're like,
no, you didn't.
it's not even possible that you folded these. You never opened it.
Or the opposite is that you go in there and it just looks like a tornado. I've seen that before.
That's
where people just grab drawers and they just start dumping drawers, and you're like, well, now I got this pile of stuff that I need to search because you didn't search anything. You just searched
Dumped
the
it all
bottom
out.
of the drawer. Basically, is all you searched.
Yep.
Yeah. So be systematic in how you're going to do your search. Like, you bring up a good point. You had it, you started top to bottom, left to right, whatever, however you did it. But I'm going to imagine you did every room the same every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's how I did a canine search. If I was going to do a canine search, if you asked me to come do a dope search or whatever, I had a systematic way of doing a search on a car, a bedroom, a house, whatever the scenario was. Like, it was the same time every single time, nothing deviated.
Well, I think it keeps it consistent, and then if you miss something.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, rooms, if you start searching rooms, they can get really confusing if you're bouncing back and forth. You'd be like, did I search there? Or did I search that? Even as simple as a closet, like, did I search a closet? I think most people can be like, yeah, I searched the closet. But did I search the whole closet? Top to bottom,
I think
if you're starting on one side, right to left, left to right, whatever it is.
I think a lot of cops too will get hung up on, like, they'll start searching a part of a room and then, like, they'll look over and see, like, I don't know, a dresser with a bunch of crap on it where they think that whatever the evidence may be, and they'll abandon what they're doing and, like, go over to the part where they think.
Well, yeah, they get bored.
So then it's like, now you're kind of skipping around and then they don't find something there. So then they go, that looks like a good hiding spot. And then they'll go over there. And then now you've kind of like bounced around.
Right.
It was not done systematic. And then you probably missed something.
Well, and it's happened to me personally where you say you're searching a closet and you're starting on the left. And then all of a sudden you start searching, you look to the right and there's a rifle. I mean, and you're like, ooh, rifle. You yell, find her.
Yeah.
Because you're cool. It's cool. I found a rifle. Or it's 10 pounds of drugs, whatever it is. Something that's big.
And illegal.
Yeah, big and illegal. And you yell and they come and then you start doing your paperwork and you're like, damn, where was I?
Yeah.
I look back on training in my early years of being solo. No one ever taught you really how to search.
I was never taught how to search until I became a detective.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
I think if there's FTOs listening, they should really focus on searching because that is, and think of the stuff that you've probably missed and the crazy places you found stuff that you just got lucky or you really learned from and started looking in those places.
Yeah, I mean, I could do a whole hour on Finder too. I would say that the Finder is the organizer too. So, and that's another reason that I think that you should have a separate Finder where they're going through and they're documenting the house. And this is more for a house. If you're searching one room, it's a little bit different. But you're searching a house, and that's any size house. You're searching the entire house. Have them document the room. Sometimes for me, I would just do a quick little sketch of what the house looked like. And then I give the rooms numbers. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And
that's a big ass house.
I know.
Well, you'd be surprised.
No,
now you're talking
kidding.
Garage.
I know you're talking about bedrooms, garages,
hallway,
bathrooms. Yeah.
There's closets, backyards, things like that. They all get their own number. And now you have it labeled. And then when something's found in that, I would be like, Kyle found the rifle in room 2. It would be KS 201 or 21 would be the item number also.
Yeah, no, great.
And it makes it organization wise where I'm like, KS, well, at least I know who found it and what room they found it in.
Yeah, so you're talking about initials for someone that's going, what's KS? Like, it's your initials or whoever found its initials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the person it's the person who yelled finder, not the finder. Because otherwise, if they're all the same.
No, it's the person. Yeah, it's the person who found the item. You're going to use their initials.
Yeah.
And then the item number and then the room number.
And
that's a good
not
point.
and that's not I'm not telling you that's how it has to be done.
No, but it's a good systematic.
Please tell me give me a better system. I'm fine with it.
I only did that when we did search warrants and rooms were numbered, and I look back and they should have been probably the same. probation search and a search warrant. But the search warrants work very, very detailed the way you're talking. The probation and parole searches that I were a part of, you had the person that was organizing it would take notes. So like if I was the one running, I'd be like, hey, can you search this bedroom? You would search it. If you found something, then I would come document it. Same kind of concept, but not as in depth.
And for me, I keep talking about warrants, because to me, probation, parole, and warrant, other than what the case agent did, it's the same thing. The search is the same. The entry is the same.
Yeah.
Everything to me is the same.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And you can disagree with me or not. Some people do.
I 100% agree with you.
The only difference is why you're there.
Exactly.
What authority are you to be doing what you're doing? Other than that, the way I got into, or
the mechanics are the same.
The mechanics are exactly the same.
Yeah.
I think it's different though, because you have worked a patrol level and now you're a detective and you see both sides and you have the ability to do the search warrant. Where like some patrol, they've never seen that side. They've never written a search warrant, and they're working graveyard with their buddies and like, let's do a probation search.
And I agree.
Yeah.
But I think that there's resources out there, and I didn't have them. And we talked about the FTO thing. Hey, maybe as a department, that should be part of your FTO program. You have to write a search warrant.
That would be great, because people think search warrants are complicated, and they're not.
They're not. They're really, really not. I've done far more complicated pursuit reports. Actually, every single pursuit report I've done is probably more complicated
Yeah.
than a search warrant.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think great points on either side. I like the idea of being very systematic about it. You know, we just gave you guys some pretty good tips on how to do that. I would challenge you to go out next time you go do a search, just try it. Try what we're saying and see if it works for you. And then, get your teams on board to do it.
I would say I want to leave it with, if you can write paper, if you have probable cause to write paper, warrant is what I mean.
Yeah, write the paper.
Write a warrant. Don't be like, I don't really want it. That's a lot of work to go for a parole search that I think may or may not be there. Do the warrant.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
I agree. But if you're just going to go, if you're just doing a rollback or
a vehicle probation search,
whatever,
I get it.
Right.
I did 5 or 10 a night sometimes, or even more probation search of vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
Way more than that.
Yep.
I'm not suggesting you go write a warrant for every single one of those.
Yeah, no, not for a vehicle.
If you're going to search a house and you have actionable reason to think that there's something there, and you're doing a planned operation, then write a warrant.
Yeah.
Planned. If you can plan, if you have time to plan, you have time to get a warrant.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Well said.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't really argue that.
Yeah. Damn it. We can't argue with Billy. All right. Let's bring up real quick something that we forgot to mention. And that is, when you're doing your pre-planning, know if you're going to make entry into that house or not. Meaning, are you going to breach that door if someone does not answer the door? That is crucial, because getting to the location and then someone's being non-compliant with you, trying to figure out, are we going to breach this door or not? That's not the time to be doing that. That's a major safety hazard. So I would have that in mind going into it. So you're either going to make entry into that house if someone doesn't answer the door, if you know for a fact that they're in there, or you're not. And if you're not, you're walking away. If you are, you better have all your tools up there with you. Like we talked about the last episode, your RAM, the Halligan, shield if you have it. Maybe you're throwing your helmets on. Why not? If you have your helmets, throw them on. But just if you're going to make entry into that house, like have your stuff ready and make that decision before you get there. Don't wait to get there. If someone doesn't answer the door, you hear milling around inside, and then it's like, oh, we got to call Sarge and ask him if we could breach the door, or you're trying to figure that out.
And then if you're breaching, if there's two of you, you're not breaching.
No, hell no. If there's
two, you guys have a SWAT training, so
no,
I would guess that's how you guys would say it, but maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not breaching with two people.
I'm not either. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
The risk, like, what's the risk versus reward in all of this? You gotta constantly be thinking about that.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the planning. If you know you have two people, you're not even gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just before you guys get to these target locations, have that in mind. If you're gonna have someone non-compliant, not answer the door, are you going to breach the door and go in, or are you not?
I'm going.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And then have your roles too, not like who's breaching all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, who's breach cover, who's, you know, who's going through the door first. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. Like have you designated roles in all of this. So,
Right.
anyways, we wanted to make sure we touched on that. But, and then Billy brought up a good point here. And that was,
I did.
yeah, that was,
Check one for me.
Check one.
and that was, you know, what time of night are you guys doing these searches? You know, if it's super late at night, you know, maybe give it over a thought. You know, you brought up a good point when off air, and that was, do they live with their parents or grandparents? Is it 2:00 in the morning? Is it midnight? Like, you should probably weigh that out and how you're going to do your knock notice and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot that goes into these. Just use your heads. Like, that's just what it comes down to. I think we say it probably every episode of this. 99% of this job is seriously like using good common sense. If it just doesn't sound right, or, you know,
Well, that's where the briefs come in. If someone's like, hey, dude, it's 3:30 in the morning. Like,
yeah, that's
that
probably
house-
not reasonable.
All of the lights are off in this house. It is silent for the last 3 hours. You know, 2 people live there. Maybe wait till they wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, either do it earlier in the night or during the day or something. But
And patrol can be difficult like that, though.
Yeah.
You know, patrol can designate when you're doing things.
yeah, how many calls
But
you're
don't be
running?
afraid if it's just a simple probation parole search where it's not a rollback. Time's on your side. I will do it tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah.
There's still another shift on, or maybe there's not. I don't know how your system
Overlaps
works,
or whatever.
overlaps work, but usually you can be like, hey, right out the gate, I can get my sergeant on board. We can leave from here. We can even
Yeah.
brief it up in the
Yeah.
department
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. So, anyways, we wanted to throw that out there. Don't be too gung ho with this stuff. It is extremely dangerous, especially nowadays. There's a lot of felons out there. People aren't going to jail for what they used to. A lot of people have guns now. So, I don't know. Weigh it out.
Risk
And
first reward, always.
Always.
I mean, from vehicle stop to
anything.
report writing when you're at it, I mean, always thinking the risk versus reward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about the most strangest or weirdest things that we have found during a search or
No.
the weirdest places that we've found.
We're going to get censored.
no.
How about second weirdest?
We'll go like fifth or sixth, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Or like the most weirdest places that we found a person hiding where you never would have thought a person would hide. Can you guys think of anything on the top of your heads?
Person finding. I'm trying to think. You
I've
kinda
seen some
you kinda
pretty
throw
good
that
hiding
at me.
places.
I have a good one.
Go ahead. You start.
All right. Working patrol. Try to do a bike stop. Guy leg bailed. Takes off.
Foot bail.
That's for you, Battleborn. Takes off. We chase him. I chased him around the backyard. I watched him run into a house, the back upstairs, like 3 steps into the back of the house. Light turns on. Lady screams. My FTO at that point was at the front of the house. Tiny little house. We lock it down. Call for a ton of different units. They all show up, and she comes out. I don't know what you're talking about. And so they look at me, and I'm on training, and I'm like, no, I literally watched this dude run in the backyard into this back of this house. Light turned on. Lady screamed. She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So they're like, well, fuck, let's search it based on what you're saying. The dude is in there. Clear the house. Nothing. And these are seasoned officers that have like 15 plus years, and they look at me like I'm an idiot. And I'm like, I am 100% telling you this dude is in here. And they're like, well, it's an attic. Unlikely the guy got up there because we didn't hear a vacuum. There's no insulation on the ground. There's clearly that thing wasn't moved. Who gets to go up there? I do. They send me up there, but I was up for it. I'm like, I want to make sure this dude is not up here.
I would have been like, all right, let's go.
No, part of it was like, I swore this guy was in this house, and they did not believe me. Nothing in the attic. Could not find any place for this person. Searching through.
How much time had gone by real quick? do you think?
I bet we were there at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours from start to finish because it took time to lock the house down, get additional resources, talk to the lady. Okay. So, I mean, there was vested time, and then it got to the point where it was like, we're wasting time now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're getting ready to leave, and I look on the ground in the living room. It's wood floor, and the rug was like kicked sideways, a huge like area rug on the floor in front of the couch, and it was kicked sideways a little bit, like it didn't look right, and I was like, that is really weird. So I pushed the table and I pulled that thing back, and there was a clearly cut out piece of wood and a little like cut handle for the wood. So I was like, oh yes, dude is under the floor. Pop this thing up, dude was hiding under there. And I was like, nice. Yes, dude. Like I was so stoked, and like all the guys that were working on the team were just like, this is badass. Like, heck yes, this dude was in there. It was awesome. So that's cool. Probably the weirdest places in the floor.
Yeah. So you got a good solid misdemeanor resisting arrest out of that?
In a meth pipe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But 15 years ago, that was a solid effort.
It was a felony arrest.
That was a solid.
Oh, yeah.
That was a solid still misdemeanor.
Yeah.
That was a felony book.
Yeah. With some crank in there, and you like scrape the pipe out, and you're like, felony.
So that's the weirdest place is
in the floor,
hardwood floor with the rug twisted sideways. So she had to have run in there.
Yeah, obviously.
Move that stuff. He bailed under there, and he was laying under there in the dirt. I mean that floor. I mean, it was a little elevated house. 2 feet. Huh. Just popped that thing, and his little face is there.
Did he know there, or did he know her?
Oh yeah, he lived there.
Oh, he lived there. Okay,
but we found out later that he lived there. Yeah.
You should have booked her.
I think for me,
we probably did.
Yeah.
I think for me, the I don't know if it's weird. It was just it was odd, but I think for me, where I found somebody hiding was, we were doing an attempt pickup for this, actually a lady who had some felony warrants. And so we're in this little like mobile home. We know that she's there, like credible info, like she's there. And so, we're in this house and we're searching it. There's multiple people in the house, can't find her. A couple of people are like, she must have, whatever, she's not here. And the folks that were in the house, we brought them outside and we're like, hey, is so-and-so here? And they were like, did the whole like, I don't know what you're talking about. So then you're like, yeah, she's here. Like anytime somebody says that, like they're there. So we searched this house.
Do it.
I'm good.
No, go ahead, Billy. Billy needs a beer.
I'm good. Look, Jesus.
More Pedialyte?
Yeah.
We searched this house high and low, could not find her. And, I mean, she ended up being,
we didn't find her and we left.
No, somebody,
that is definitely weird.
Yeah. Somebody like ends up moving the couch or something. And like, so they had a couch, like normal living room setup, but there was a couch in the living room, and they actually like, if you took the cushions off, they hollowed out the whole couch. And so she was inside the couch.
Nice.
And it was like a total makeshift hiding spot, for whatever turd was hanging out at that house that needed a hiding place. But it was a good hiding place. I was like, damn, a lot of thought went into this. Like they actually cut the inside of the couch out. They hollowed it out, and you could lay in there perfectly and then set the cushions on top. You would never know. It's pretty solid.
I've actually found a person in a couch before also.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as common as you thought, I guess. And it wasn't cut out.
Probably.
It was just, I think it was just an old couch.
Old shit couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't think I have anything like crazy though, like hiding spots. Covered in clothes in the closet.
Yeah.
That's always a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like kind of like stomping with your foot, and you're like, and then you're like, it's all hard. And then they're like, oh, all right. And you're like, oh shit.
Attics covered in insulation, which is enough penalty alone for most things. Oh God,
yeah.
Scratching for
I
days.
got a good dog bite one time in an attic, and it was like August, hot as hell. Dude was got in a pursuit with this guy. I didn't. Another officer got in a pursuit. Leg bails into a house.
Leg bails?
Yeah. How about we call it footied? He footied?
No.
Okay.
It's foot bailed because he has feet. And that's what he's running on. He's not running on his legs.
No, I think that's a challenge. I want to hear somebody that legitimately can tell a story of
when they use
leg pursuit.
Not leg pursuits. I want to know if someone uses the damn term they leg bailed.
Yeah, and now
Damn
I'm
it,
in, like,
let me
pursuit.
know. Anyways, back to my story.
Now I gotta. You say leg bail, but foot pursuit.
Yeah.
Okay. I want that documented.
No, that's
by
what
everybody.
we would say,
That-
like he leg bailed. We're not talking about this
We're in a
anymore.
sterile environment, and I'm confused. Let alone people responding code 3 to that scene is going to be even more confused.
Listen, the guy runs into the house.
Oh, okay.
We end up getting into the house. I've got my dog, and dude's nowhere to be found. So now it comes time to go in the attic. And in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done this. I was a newer handler at the time, but I deployed my dog in the attic. He was a pretty bad dude, and he had some pretty violent, nasty warrants for his arrest. So I end up deploying the dog up there. Dog finds him like, it must have taken like, I swear, like 2 seconds. As soon as I launched the dog in this attic, he picked his odor up and boom, he was on him, biting him. Now I can hear the guy screaming, and I'm like, shit, now we got to go up there. So then we go up in the attic, and by the time I get the dog off of him, and man, we get him out of the attic. We had to like punch a hole through the ceiling to drop him down through the ceiling. Dude, he had like his dog bite wounds. He had like fiberglass insulation all like embedded in the freaking bite wounds. And I was like, oh, fuck. And it was like hot as fuck up there. And man, I'm like,
You gotta give that guy credit.
Yeah.
To get into if I had to crawl in the attic at my house in the summertime, it's got to be something major.
oh, dude.
Let alone getting up there hiding.
And he was up there for a
adrenaline.
while.
Yeah,
Because I mean, you got to figure we're searching the whole house. Like it took us a while.
probably
right?
buried himself in that insulation.
Fuck. Anyways, man, he absolutely regretted that. I guarantee it. But, anyways,
I have one other weird discovery, not a person, but a room. Our team had served a search warrant at this house. It cleared it. Everything was nothing there. I mean, it was very clear it was a 1-story house. We left. I think it was like 2 years later. DEA says, hey, serve the search warrant. Their intel was...
Wait, shocker! You did a warrant more than once at the same house?
Yeah, we did actually. They were like, the intel we have is a lot of construction material coming and going from this house. We don't really get it. Cleared the house, and someone found stairs through a closet downstairs, and they had made a whole nother room downstairs, dug out an entire lower portion of a house for like this huge room and laundry room. And they weren't trying to conceal stuff. I don't think it was more of like, let's make our house bigger. It was
like dug it out like dirt.
Yes.
Totally permitted, I'm guessing.
No, but I mean, they put work. It wasn't like shit shot work. It was, I mean, it was a legit staircase downstairs, sheetrocked, whole additional big room. It was absolutely insane to see.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. And they dug it all out, huh?
Yeah. They must have taken the vehicles in with some construction material and dirt out to the garage. You know, you don't know what they're putting in vehicles.
Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy. Anyways.
Trees. I found a lot of people in trees too.
Yeah, trees are
I don't think that's that uncommon, but some people walk by and don't look up.
Yeah, you should definitely look up when you're searching.
Yeah, always look up because tops of rooftops. I'm sure everybody knows that one, but
We just had one recently. I mean, guy run on, and he was on a roof. Air found him.
Yeah.
Before we did. I mean, obviously, but
Trees is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, look up on your high finds. I mean, that's scary when you're walking below some trees and someone's up. The person you're looking for is up above you in a tree.
Yeah.
and that's kind of like a no shit.
Put
Whoops.
yourself in a situation you're like, oh man, they could have had me.
Yeah, for sure.
We got intel once of like a hiding box, something in the floor of an apartment, and it took 2 people to move this dresser out of this bedroom, and then you pull the carpet back, and they had cut in the wood floor and made a box that was, in the ground. When we found it, there was unfortunately nothing in there, but it was really interesting because it took. I mean, you're peeling carpet back at this point to find a hide a hole.
Yeah, you deserve to not be found if you're like getting that crazy and crafty. I mean,
That wasn't for people though, was
No.
it?
No. I mean, it was probably like an 8 or 10 inch by 10 inch little box. Just enough to throw maybe the size of a gun would fit in there, but drugs.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Found a ton of cash in old shitty shoes in the back of a closet, you know, like when you're searching, generally people just grab shoes and just toss them. Mm-hmm. But like the money was rolled tight and deep down in the toe of the shoe. Mm-hmm. So I think check the inside the shoe.
I found a lot of money in AC vents.
Oh yeah, AC vents for sure.
Money in AC vents before.
Do you actually have to take the vents off?
Well, the one that I'm thinking of, it was in the air return, and it was down low actually for the furnace. And you just rolled it back and
It was there.
it slid back into the ducting. A lot of it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
That's a good one.
and they had a air filter in front of it also. So
yeah. I mean,
you can look through the vent and be like, oh yeah, it looks normal.
We found stuff in cereal boxes.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's the shitty thing when you are doing a legit search warrant and you're dumping people's cereal out, because it's kind of a weird thing to dump people's food out, but
well, yeah.
you find drugs in it. Cereal boxes in the freezer.
Freezer,
Freezer,
fridges,
Yeah.
pantries.
Pantries, all that. I mean, it's
Christmas time, we actually unwrapped people's gifts and they were irate about it, but we found drugs in one of them.
oh
Oh, you're
Yeah,
being serious?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a coffee can, like a Starbucks type of coffee. And it was wrapped, and then you open it and then inside there was beans, but inside that was drugs.
oh wow.
Yeah. Totally wrapped up.
Nah,
Just never even would have
I
thought
thought you were
that.
joking.
No, see, I actually liked Christmas time for doing probation searches in people's cars that have history of drugs and stuff, and they have gifts. I mean, it's kind of shitty to open someone else's gifts, but you find stuff and you have the authority to do it.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're the Grinch. like you're like a legit Grinch.
Wow.
You're a redheaded Grinch.
No, I'm saying that they were Santa and those were my gifts.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fucked up.
Well, I didn't rip them open. Like, you try to be respectful.
I mean, that's a good point. And
Don't be fooled.
No,
well,
don't
don't be fooled. But I've done a lot of searches for drugs when I was on the drug team, and there's a high likelihood on a lot of things that you're not going to find what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if like speaker boxes are always big, like unscrew things and take the speakers out. I've seen where people grab knives and cut the speakers and do stuff like that. And you're like, dude, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah. Like just unscrew it.
Yeah. It's a little bit more work, but if you're at the searching point, time is on your side.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is those people have got away with it a lot, many times, because there's cops that are lazy and that just want to look through really quick. I don't see anything. And then they move on. You go a little further, you take a little more time, unscrew the speakers. That's where if I'm going to move some drugs from my house to your house, I'm not just going to put it under my seat.
Right.
It is going to be hidden.
You'd be surprised.
A lot of idiots do. Isn't that crazy?
But I'm not going to just shove it under my seat. It's going to be, I'm going to put some thought into it, and you're going to have to take some work to get it.
And when you're searching a car, a house, if you see a speaker, we'll just stick with the speaker, and the screws are black, and all of a sudden you look at it and it looks like that screw's been taken off a lot because you can see the metal coming through it.
Oh yeah.
Look at things like that. Oh, this speaker has been removed a lot. This is a calming hiding spot for them. Or this, the seat covers, if they're loose, sometimes you're like, well, this seat cover's come off before. This seat back underneath the back seat of most cars are screwed down or clipped down. And I don't know how many times it's just been floating back there. It's because, hey, they've removed it for a reason.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good point.
One of the guys I used to work with on the gang team, he was really good at searching. He took the time and found a gun in the sunroof.
I found that.
Shoved back in the headliner.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
Headliner. I found them in the engine compartment.
Oh yeah,
times.
that's a good point. If you're doing a search on a car, you should always pop the hood and check in the engine compartment. Like every single search you do of a car, do it, because you're gonna come across a gun every once in a while, or dope or whatever. But I have found so many guns in engine compartments. One time, an old piece of crap van, whatever. I popped the hood, dude, sawed off shotgun laying across the freaking engine.
Yep.
Right there. I'm like, boom, hell yeah.
Yeah, but I think pistols, looking even further, I did a traffic stop on a Civic. It just happened to be lowered, and I was in an import type of rice rocket type cars. And this dude rolls by and had PC to stop him, and I did, and he's on probation, so I popped the hood, and I was like, that is not the motor for this car. And then start looking at it, and he's trying to talk like he knows it, but I knew cars at the time, and make a couple phone calls, and then you on the front of the motor, you run the
VIN.
Yeah, and it was a stolen motor out of a different car, and it's like, well, sorry, bud.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I think motors too.
I mean, that's kind of a little bit off topic, but having knowledge of things is always good. Mm-hmm. And if you do, and it's not necessarily having to have the knowledge, but if you have the knowledge, use it.
Yes.
You had knowledge of the type of cars, so you could ask him questions, and you could tell all of a sudden that, hey, he's not truthful because I know about it. Mm-hmm. For me, I worked construction for 10 years, and I don't know how many guys I would run into, and they'd be like, I work construction. I'm like, okay, what do you do? Like, general. Oh, okay. What kind of general do you do?
He's like, they're like, no, I am the general.
Yeah. I mean, like so many times, and like, oh, you have tools for this and this and this, whatever it might be, but that's a different topic for maybe a different time.
It's useless knowledge, but that's good because I had 14 jobs prior to law enforcement.
Yep.
One was working in a carpet store, and a guy said he did carpet, and I was like, oh, well, what type of carpet do you put down?
Yeah.
Couldn't answer that.
Exactly.
Well, what's Armstrong? That's a brand of carpet.
Yeah.
A manufacturer. Like, you can't even name a manufacturer or a type of carpet, but you do carpet.
Yeah.
You're bullshitting.
Yeah. Weren't you a barista?
I was.
I'm sorry.
I was employee of the quarter at Starbucks.
Employee of the quarter.
Sorry,
What is that, dude?
I can't.
You didn't even get the whole quarter. You just got the money.
Just didn't even get. Yeah, just got the month.
I will say, so back to searching and using what you find in the vehicle. We talked about tool marks are always big. There was one that I was involved in. I didn't end up finding it, but I was there when we started doing the search. Without intel, and there's times in vehicles where you have like, hey, this guy carries this here.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm going to search there. This was without an intel of where they kept it, but they ended up having, I want to say it was 25, 30 pounds of meth inside their gas tank of the vehicle, of the car. And the dog was hitting on it, it had an alert. So for those of you that think you can mask it, it was, I think, like triple wrapped.
You're not masking it. Yeah.
Triple wrapped in gasoline.
No.
But there's a lot of times where I wouldn't, if I've never been a dog handler, but I don't think I'd let my dog sniff gasoline necessarily. I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
you
run
it by him, but I don't want him like sucking gas fumes out. maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know anything about dog stuff, but that's a whole dog operations is different. But what led us to it is there's a car with 4 people in it, and they had gas tanks in the back of the trunk of the car. And they had gas tanks because
they needed to fill the gas tank.
If you put a bunch of stuff in a gas tank, now you've taken the volume of gas that can go in there. So they would run out of gas, and the gas gauge wouldn't work either. So they had gas.
That's good. Pretty smart, dude. That's pretty savvy.
But yeah, and that's we ended up ripping that car apart.
Yeah.
Multiple actually ended up going back after it was towed and writing a warrant and then doing a further search.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're going to be checking stuff, man, check it thoroughly. Like, check under the car. Like I said, systematically, I always check under cars for magnets and stuff like that. And then I check under the hoods of cars all the time. And every now and again, you'll come across a gun.
Yeah, I found magnets a lot of times too with pouches or Pelican boxes on them.
Yeah.
I think too, if you have intel that somebody has hidden something someplace, that's not the first place you search, because that will burn the CI.
Yeah.
If it's very like specific, like take the dash out, and the first thing you do is sit in that car and you pull the dash, and you're like, I got it.
Yeah.
No,
It's right where he said it was.
It's right here. Yeah. No,
He wasn't lying.
Hey, tell Mike, good job.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't burn your CIs, no matter. I mean,
No.
Shoot.
man, I can go on and on about that.
Yeah. don't
Especially when you're talking about drug world. Never burn your CIs, no matter what.
No, that's messed up.
Let that case go before you have to put a CI out in discovery.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
In California, and I don't know, maybe laws are different where you have to disclose CIs in different states. I don't know.
If you don't have to in California, you probably don't have to anywhere else.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that we have more leeway. People would be surprised of.
Yeah.
Probation parole searches, we have a lot more leeway than a lot of states.
Yeah,
do.
that's true. Like Washington, you're not allowed to even search somebody on probation or parole.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like called it a probation officer. I don't fucking know. Anyways.
Yeah. No, we actually searching wise, and when it comes to warrants, that's signed by a judge, and you have to do it. It says shall, not should. So
You have the option. I give you the authority to search if you want to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's and use that like, hey, I have to search this. If I don't search it, I'm going to jail, which may or
Yeah.
may not be true. I mean, technically, you're in violation of a court order if you don't search something. But
Anyways, I guess the whole premise behind this one was just give you guys some ideas on how to go about doing these things. Do them safely, do them systematically. Use your heads. Remember, risk versus reward. And is the juice worth the squeeze on some of this stuff? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you could have really good info on somebody. Maybe they are on probation or parole and you have the authority to go into their house, but you do a history check there and there's some other bad people that live there and who have some bad history. Maybe that's not a patrol level search. Maybe that's something like Billy said earlier. You're going to pass off to another team. Maybe it's your TAC team or somebody who can do a little bit more research, but
So I also wanted to say is back to the homework before. In California, we have databases where you can call and check on investigations, and that's law enforcement only. And you have to have an account and passwords. So you criminals listening, you're not going to be able to call and ask if there's an investigation on you.
Suckers.
But check with that, because you could be doing like, I'm going to go do a rollback parole search on this guy's house, and
Fuck
you
up a
have the
case.
time.
Yeah, that's
check
true.
on
Yeah,
it,
great
and
point.
then there's going to be a detective or an agent, and he's going to be like, wow, thanks for, I've worked on this for 2 years, and you got an ounce out of the guy that I know have had 10 pounds before. So
Yeah,
good job.
You fucked my case up.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think too, those, you did say, do your homework and stuff. And if you can't do it, you can't do it. Risk versus reward.
Yeah.
I
for
think
sure.
if you know teams or street teams or gang teams and stuff, and you have intel, work with them and say, hey, I want the experience. I want to write the search warrant. I want to come with you guys on a day. And then they might let you do it. And then you do all the work and they serve it, and then you're involved in it, but it's way safer.
Yeah.
It's a different exposure.
Well, for me, when I was on the NARC team, I would tell people in patrol, like I'd say, hey, call me. And they'd be like, I work graveyards. I'm like, dude, I work graveyards for years. I get paid extra. I have my phone on me. If you get something juicy,
Yep.
call me. I don't care. The worst I'm going to say is, it's too late for this. Call me later, or maybe it's something that I have to act on now, and I'll deal with it. But have those resources, call them. And then what I always said is, hey, that's good info. Hey, let it go. We'll start doing some homework. I'll let you in on it. And then sometimes they're like, patrol can't do surveillance for the most part. Patrol can't do surveillance. I'm not even going to say for the most part.
Yeah.
You can't. No, I've seen people try it. You cannot do surveillance. That black and white car and that uniform give it away every time.
I don't know. You can. We've done it. You stage a leg bail, and then when the people that you want to target are outside, you stage a leg bail. You do the felony stop. It's all staged, and then you go up and you talk to the house of the suspects that you want, and you're like, hey, dude, you see that? Oh yeah, I saw that. And you try and sweet talk them, and you get, I just need your name, and then you got their name. If you can,
I've never thought about that, actually.
and you're in uniform in a patrol car.
I really have never thought about that.
Me neither.
Yeah, we've done it.
I think more of what I was thinking is the car sitting on the street trying to look
Yeah.
at them, and maybe it's your unmarked cars that
yeah.
some people have that,
Yeah.
and your Explorer with black wheels that's unmarked is not unmarked.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Little 15-inch
guys,
rims.
yeah, these guys are smarter than you think. I will say that much. So yeah, and I always would throw it out to them like, hey, this is getting beyond the scope of what you can do. I'm going to run with it if you're okay with it. And when I run with it, when we're done, when it comes to hitting the house or hitting the target, I'm going to be like, hey, ask your sergeant if you can come with me or with us. And that's how I did it. Cause then they get a little bit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So, yeah, good tips. try and use these things. I mean, we're giving you guys some good valuable tips through our experience. You know, Billy's got great experience doing it. Go out and apply it, try it out, share it with your teams, and then let us know, you know, if it works out or not. But
yeah, I'm curious to see if people actually do it and see what they get from it.
yeah,
No, I
Yeah,
am too, and I'm curious. I'm sure there's detectives listening, there's SWAT guys listening, there's patrol guys, and they're like, "We did it this way, but then we started doing it this way because of this." I'll be like, "Oh, that actually makes sense." Like your whole fake foot bail thing.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Oh, you're talking about the leg bail, the stage leg bail?
No, I'm talking about the foot bail.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
you can stage it. You can do it.
The foot bail that you leg pursued.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
whatever.
No one's ever
Anyways.
had a.
And for all you command staff, lieutenants, captains, maybe chiefs listening, we're trying to mitigate liability for you guys.
Well, that's the whole point of a lot of this is to educate and teach and keep people in the departments from getting in trouble.
Yeah. We just wanted to throw that out there for them. So
Yeah, and I don't think that any of us is saying that the way that we said to do things is the way. To
the
do
way.
things.
No,
yeah,
it
it's
is.
just a no, it's a way.
And if you
it's just,
disagree with us, disagree. I'd love to hear about it. But please give me an explanation of why your way is better,
yeah.
Yeah.
because it's not.
Yeah. But it might change your
It could
thought.
be.
Yeah.
I do like the
The staging of
fake leg bail.
See, it's coming natural.
It's
It
not.
is so natural.
It hurt to say it.
It'll
Someone's
going to
use it, damn it, and then I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Should we give them a high 50% marked up sweatshirt if they do that?
Yeah, you go ahead and use it, and we will give you something.
We are going to jack
We'll give you
this
one of
up.
these cool metal Shots Fired podcast pint cups, and we'll sign them, and then we'll give you one.
Yes, absolutely. But we got to have evidence of it. Maybe radio traffic, something.
Yeah, we need something. The
Something-
challenge is there. Better be you, Battleborn.
I know. Something says he'll do it.
All right. Do you guys have anything else
No,
before
this
we
was
wrap
good.
this up? Good topic.
Yeah.
Good safety aspects to it.
Temperature in the studio is good.
Acceptable.
Yeah. Acceptable.
Billy's sweating. He's all,
I wanted to take the hoodie off halfway through, but it'd look weird.
yeah.
it's all bloop, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Someone would rewind it and be like, what the?
What?
They edited it. Anyways, all right. Did you have anything?
Nope. Be safe out there, guys.
Yeah, be safe, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. See you
Yeah.
later.
Yep.
Hey, 49, shot fired.
Copy additional shot fired.
Shot fired, shot fired. He's shooting at us.
Suspect shooting at officer.